gentlemen, 5-minute warning. Go ahead and clear those trays if you're finished eating. Follow around the outside of the dining hall to clear your trays. I'm sorry?
Are we singing in here?
Probably.
Would be, right up there.
right, gentlemen, if you're not already in line, just hold tight and you can clear your tray after our dinner speaker. If you'll go ahead and quiet down. Gentlemen. Can you hear me on the right side of the room? Boy, stay! 10 hut! Thank you. Gotta listen. If you hear somebody on the mic, it's probably important. So if you've already got your tray up in line, go ahead and keep clearing your tray, and we'll get ready to have our dinner speaker present seat.
Before I introduce our guest speaker for this meal, I would like to bring up a visitor we have, a visitor on campus for a couple of days is Roger Matheson. Sometimes he'll be wearing his red Legion cap, which signifies he is a national officer in the American Legion. He is our national vice commander for the Central Region. He lives in Wisconsin and made a 2-day trip here to be with us for a couple of days. So when you see Roger around, say hello. Thanks, Roger. Our guest speaker here at dinner is a Braxton County native. Do we have anybody here besides him from Braxton County? That's too bad. That's too bad. I think that's 2 years in a row. We're going to have to work on that. So our speaker is a Braxton County native. He is a Marine Corps veteran. He is a member of my American Legion post, which is American Legion post, or Mountaineer, post 174 in Morgantown. He is also a member of the Earl Anderson Marine Corps League Detachment 342 in Morgantown. On March 26, 2012, so 13 years ago, he started an improbable cross-country journey in order to honor our military veterans and raise funds for a West Virginia-based Operation Welcome Home, a veterans facility for veterans by veterans. He would run coast to coast, beginning in Coos Bay, Oregon. After 100 days, 10 pairs of running shoes, 3,452 miles, and impacted countless lives along the way, he completed his journey in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, becoming the 48th person in history to complete a true ocean-to-ocean run across America. You may not remember this, but I joined him for part of that run.
Yep, in Morgantown.
He is the CEO of Guidon Creative. He resides in Morgantown, West Virginia with his wife Tiffany, and they have 2 adult children who also live in West Virginia. Please give a warm, rousing Boise State welcome to Jamie Summerlin.
Thanks, Matt. Well, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing this evening? Good. All right, we got a rowdy crowd here. I like this. This is awesome. This is great to see the energy in the room, to see you guys out there in formation, getting ready for dinner, doing the ceremony, and really going at this with all of your being. It's going to be an uncomfortable week this week for you, I can assure you, but it's going to be a life-changing week. And that's what I wanted to share with you a little bit about this evening. I wanted to share a little bit of a personal story. So, as Matt said, I graduated from Braxton County High School, grew up in West Virginia. All my family's still here. 17 days after I graduated high school, I spent 18 years trying to get out of this state and 10 trying to get back. 17 days after I graduated high school, I was standing on the yellow footprints at Parris Island, South Carolina, with the opportunity to become a United States Marine. It was the most uncomfortable experience I've ever had in my life. I realized very quickly that the life I thought I had, the journey I thought I was going to take, was going to be directed by somebody else for those next 13 weeks. The experience pushed me beyond limits I never knew I could possibly achieve. It gave me the confidence to become a better person, a better version of myself. I, like you this week, was surrounded by young men who had voluntarily taken the oath to serve our great country. Through that, I established some of the best relationships I've ever had. relationships that I still carry with me to this very day. I'm forever thankful for those 6 years in the United States Marine Corps. During that time, I actually met my wife, Tiffany, who served in the Marine Corps as well. And for almost 30 years, we have lived together, served together, raised our children together, and continue to try to give back to West Virginia in whatever way we possibly can. She became my best friend, someone I could lean on, both during good times and the bad. Though the training was only 13 weeks, which is the longest training that any of our military branches go through, got a nice little dig to my Army buddies over here, that week changed me, or those 13 weeks changed me in ways I never thought possible. In the same way, Boys State will challenge and inspire you. And though it is only 1 week, it has the power to change you in ways you never dreamed possible. As Matt mentioned, in 2012, I ran across the entire United States of America. 100 days, 3,452 miles. How many of you in the room have ran a 5K before? All right, so quite a few of you. Awesome. How many of you have ran 11 of those in one day? Nobody? Okay. Well, up until that point, I hadn't either. But when I decided to actually do the run, that's what the average ended up being. 11 5Ks every single day for 100 straight days, and then finished the final 100 miles in just under 24 hours from the Naval Academy to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Along the way, I met heroes. I met men and women who served this great country. I met their family members, and I met people who got a chance to share their stories. But up until that point in my life, I thought boot camp was the most uncomfortable thing I was ever going to go through. That turned out to be the most uncomfortable thing I had ever done. But here's the thing. All the training, all the leadership, all the relationships I had built, all of it helped prepare me to overcome the obstacles that I faced during that run. There were days when I was exhausted. There were days when the weather was brutal. There were days when the miles ahead looked almost unsurmountable. But the thought of stopping, the thought of giving up, never crossed my mind. Instead, I focused on taking it one step at a time, moving forward no matter what, because it wasn't about me. It was about the men and women that I was trying to raise awareness and funds for through that journey. And that experience taught me something that applies to this week and to life in general. You are capable of far more than you think, especially when you make yourself uncomfortable and push through it. You're going to have opportunities this week to do exactly that, to be the best team player possible. This is leadership training, and you will learn to lead in different ways. I want to encourage every single one of you in this room, take advantage of every opportunity that's presented to you. Make yourself uncomfortable. Put yourself out there. I used to tell my kids every morning before they left the house, they'd head off to school, going out the door, they just kind of got used to hearing me say it, but they understood over time why those words came out of my mouth. I always wished them and encouraged them to have a great day at school, but I said, make yourself uncomfortable today. And they'd kind of chuckle and laugh, but they also understood what I was trying to say with that. If you went through life comfortably, if you just went to school, if you just came here to Boys State and you just wanted to kind of go through the motions and go through the week, you were not going to have the experience that you actually have in front of you. You're not going to have the best opportunity to take advantage of pushing yourself far greater than you ever thought you could. My goal was always to see them achieve far greater things than I ever did. That was always my dream for them. And believe me, they faced challenges because they pushed themselves. Both of them started college thinking they knew exactly what they wanted to do. Both of them chose majors thinking they had their path all figured out, just like I did when I was standing on those yellow footprints at Paris Island, and the drill instructor made me understand very quickly that it was not my path, it was his path. But then they realized that the path they were on wasn't what they saw themselves spending the rest of their lives doing. And that meant they had to make a hard choice. They had to change direction. They had to put themselves out there. They had to step out of their comfort zone and start down a new road, one that felt uncertain at the time for both of them. But here's the important part. They did it. Here's the important part. You're doing it. They made those changes. They adjusted, they persevered. And today, they're both extremely happy. They're both doing things that they love. Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone means realizing that your first plan isn't the plan and isn't the right plan, but that's okay. Every single one of you will face these moments this week, and that's called growth. 8 years ago this week, my son was sitting in this very room, and I had the chance to come down and motivate and talk to the young men that were in that room. I was very honored to give them the kickoff speech that week, and that week I told them, every single young man sitting in that room, exactly what I told my son every morning. 8 years later, I still run into young men, now grown men, who went through this program and still talk about that speech, still talk about those words that were shared. How they realized that week that if they just made themselves comfortable, they weren't going to really experience Boys State the way it was intended to be experienced. They knew it was going to be hot. It was going to be rainy, just like it was this afternoon. It's going to be muggy. You're going to get tired. But you're going to have the opportunity to build some of the best relationships and friendships that will stay with you for a very, very long time. Now, I'm going to make you uncomfortable a couple of ways this evening. First, we're going to sing. Yeah. All right. So I don't have a voice of an angel. I'm sure a lot of you in the room are in the same boat. That's fine. But that's okay. We're going to sing together because that's what we do at Boys State. We do things together. Everyone knows the song Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. All I want to do is sing the chorus. Okay? I want every one of us to sing along with the chorus on 3. Starting with Country Roads, okay? 1, 2, 3. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. That sounded amazing. But there's 2 words in that chorus that I want you to think about. And they might be 2 words that you didn't think about as you sang that song. I belong. Each one of you is here because this is exactly where you belong this week. You've been selected by leaders in your community, supported by your family, by service organizations, and by your school. You belong. You belong to one of the greatest annual traditions that exists in the United States of America, Boys State. You are surrounded by men and women who have sacrificed their time away from their own families to be here for you this week, to train you, to encourage you, and to teach you how to lead. Make sure you show them the respect that they deserve. They're going to push you and make you uncomfortable this week. But this is an opportunity that very few get a chance to experience. So I just left our Marine Corps League meeting, annual picnic this afternoon, and I always look forward to this picnic that we have because it brings together some of our members who don't get a chance to get out all the time to our meetings. We had 2 members that were there today. I haven't seen since the picnic last year, but they had people bring them to be a part of it. Korean War veteran, World War II veteran, people that I just love being around and hearing and listening to, letting them share their stories. There were men and women who served in Vietnam, the Gulf War, and other battles that this country has fought in. I'm thankful every chance I get for the opportunity to learn from them, to hear their stories, to reflect on the sacrifices they and others made, and to understand how those sacrifices have helped shape their lives. Being around those brothers and sisters in uniform remind me why we are called the few, the proud, the Marines. We are the smallest fighting force out there, but the one with the reputation of being the greatest fighting force in the world. Now with that, I do give props to all my brothers and sisters in the room who have served in any other branch in the military. But I'm a very proud and unapologetic Marine, just as much as I am an unapologetic West Virginian. Remember those 2 words we talked about. I belong. On the count of three, I want everybody to say them out loud. 1, 2, 3. I belong. I love being around these men and women because not only do I respect them, but I know I belong. I belong with them, I belong to them, and I am there for them. This week, respect each other, lean on each other, and know that each one of you belongs here to support one another. This week, you're going to have some opportunities. Some of you are going to run for office. You're going to have to convince others why you should be their leader. This is a great opportunity because most of you didn't know many people in this room before you got here. It's a fresh start, an opportunity to make an impact, an opportunity to share an experience that will stick with you for a lifetime, I promise you. As I said, I want to make you uncomfortable a couple of times this evening. Now, you sang earlier, I'm not going to have you do that. But I'm going to do a little exercise that I love doing here at Boise State because it helps as you're getting through the week to think about how tired you are, how drained you might be, how much information is getting shoved at you, you're trying to learn and hold in those brains that are still developing. And you're going to have to find ways to push yourself. You're going to have to find ways to dig a little deeper every single time. So what I want you to do is I want everybody in the room to raise your hands. Get your hands up as high in the air as you can. I know this is waking you up. I want you to make sure you get your hands up. Everybody's looking at you. The person across the table is looking at you to make sure your hands are up. You are going to find opportunities this week to be uncomfortable. You're going to find opportunities this week to put yourself in a position where you're going to have to dig a little deeper. Get your hands up. Let's make sure they're up there, okay? Now, I want everybody in the room to do me one favor. Raise your hands up about one more inch. All right, go ahead, put your hands down. I want you to think about this week as you're going through the challenges that you face. Just when you think you can't give any more, you've always got a little bit left. You've always got the opportunity to give a little bit more. It might not be just for yourself. Even though you belong, I belong, we belong. We are a team. We are here to support one another. We're here to learn from one another. We're here to be the best representative of our communities that we can possibly be. This week will be uncomfortable, men. You will face challenges. There will be times when things won't go the way you hoped. You might even feel a little defeated. But understand this. That's life. And when life brings defeat, or when you feel like you didn't succeed at something this week, I want you to remember this. You belong. You were chosen to be here. You are part of something far bigger than yourself this week. And no outcome, no setback changes that. You belong here this week. You belong in this room. You belong among leaders. And you belong wherever life takes you from here. Make the most of it this week, men. Take advantage of every opportunity. God bless Mountaineer Boise State. God bless West Virginia. And God bless the United States of America. Have a great night.
My invitation to come speak here at Mountaineer Boise State. And I'm running out of new things to give him as a token of appreciation. But we now have a Mountaineer Boise State patch, a week that shapes a lifetime, and I hope he finds a suitable article of clothing to stitch this onto and wear with pride. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
All right, a few announcements before we dismiss to the assembly.